Hello and welcome to airgunweb.com, your home for honest, real-world airgun reviews and information where we bring you the facts, not fluff. The sequel to any good movie always has some really big shoes to fill, and the new synthetic Marauder is definitely in the same boat. Its predecessor has been the hands-down favorite for PCP airgunners on a budget. It's also held the crown as one of the most, if not the most, backyard-friendly, off-the-shelf PCP airgun on the market. Now, I'm a huge fan of the original, and I've been looking forward to working with version 2 of this iconic airgun. So now let's go ahead and take a good look at the Benjamin Marauder Synthetic in .25 caliber. The new synthetic Benjamin Marauder seeks to address several suggestions made over the years about the original. Starting with the new synthetic stock, it shaves nearly a full pound off the original Marauder, while adding a more ergonomic grip and an adjustable cheek piece. A lot of thought and attention went into the design of this new iteration of the Marauder. There are some changes that you can't see. The rifle comes with a factory-installed depinger, which helps reduce the mechanical noise. And Benjamin's also promised some magic with the valve to deliver a more powerful and consistent shot string. The rifle has a 215cc reservoir that can be filled up to 3,000 psi. To help you keep track of your usable pressure, there's a pressure gauge in the forearm. Now, the rifle does not have any open sights, so you're going to need to take advantage of the 11mm rail in the top of the receiver. I've mounted what's essentially my dream scope to our test Marauder. It's the Hawk Sidewinder 3-12x50 side focus scope. This is a thing of beauty, and we're going to spend some more time on it in another video. You'll need to use two-piece mounts so that you can straddle the breech and the 8-shot auto-indexing magazine. Unlike my first go-round with the .25 cal Marauder, these magazines have worked flawlessly. The trigger is the same fully adjustable match-grade trigger. It's one of the best for target shooting or down-and-dirty field work. Let's go ahead and get our Marauder ready to fire. The first thing we're going to need to do is charge the cylinder. Now, it will take up to 3,000 psi. What I like to use for testing is my Air Venturi regulated fill system. This bottle is a 4,500 psi bottle, but it's regulated to only output 2,900 psi. This allows me to connect it to my rifle, go ahead and fill it up, and I don't have to worry about overfilling because it's regulated to a max of that 2,900 psi. So we'll go ahead and get this done here. Now the rifle is unloaded and the safety is on. That's always a good thing to do, just to be safe. Okay, we're connected. Close my bleed valve. Open the main valve. Right now it's dumping air into our Marauder. When you hear the air stop, close the valve. Bleed off the line. That's it, you're all set. Now the next thing we need to do is go ahead and fill our 8-shot magazine. Now, read the manual when it comes to these magazines. If you don't, it may be a little bit confusing the first few times you use them. What you're going to do is rotate the top plate all the way around until it locks into place. We'll grab our pellets here. Block the rear hole with a finger. And then drop a pellet in. Now you're going to start rotating that plate counterclockwise and fill in the pellets on the way back across. Okay. Now once this is loaded, we can go ahead and install it into our rifle. Load from the right side, locks into place. Close our bolt. Now we're essentially ready to fire. To fire the Marauder, you're going to aim it at your intended target. Release the safety. And gently squeeze the trigger. Now, firing the Marauder is about as pleasant as you can imagine. There's no recoil to deal with, and the trigger is very predictable. About the only negative that I've found is going to come with the mechanics of that bolt action. It can be a little bit gritty, and frankly, mine has yet to really smooth out. So you're going to need to pay close attention when cocking the Marauder, as you could accidentally load 2 pellets and possibly jam up the gun. If you pay attention to what you're doing, however, you're going to have a lot of fun with this rifle. My original 25 cal Marauder absolutely loved the Benjamin Dome pellets, so that's where I started. I was pretty pleased with my groupings at 30 yards, and then things went downhill pretty quickly after that. Fortunately, I had brought my JSB Exact Kings along, and they pretty much turned everything back around. Now the JSB Exacts averaged 834.6 feet per second across 2 magazines, which is pretty close to 40 foot-pounds at the muzzle. Unfortunately, this is where our new Marauder hit its first bump in the road. The extreme spread across the first 10 shots was 44.4 feet per second. If you go to the end of the second magazine, that jumps to an extreme spread of 92.6 feet per second. Now this is way off spec from the original that I tested back in November of 2010. Now don't get discouraged yet. There's an area where the new Marauder really outshines the old one, and it deals with the noise level. The old 25 cal Marauder averaged about 112 dB in my indoor tests. The new version was just over 100 dB, and that makes this new 25 cal Marauder a potentially backyard-friendly powerhouse of an airgun. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these groups. The first group is shot at 30 yards with the Benjamin Dome pellets. It's not a bad group. The second was shot with the Benjamin Domed, but at 50 yards, and as you can see, this was just not going to get it done. The last group was shot with the JSB Exact Kings, again at 50 yards, and these were the typical groups I was getting at 50 yards with those pellets. They really performed well in our rifle. Let's go ahead and take a look at these groups. So let's go ahead and wrap things up with our final summary. Here's the question everyone's been asking me. Is the new 25 cal synthetic Marauder better than the original? I gotta tell you, I can't really say that it's undeniably better. There's always going to be a little bit of give and take. Now, the new Marauder is undeniably quieter, it's lighter, and it's more ergonomically pleasing to shoot. But the trade-off seems to have been that little bit of extra power and shot consistency. Now, I don't think that's going to impact my groups out to 50 yards, but you can bet as you increase your range, the drop in velocity from shot to shot is going to affect your point of impact. The best improvement, which is more than sufficient for me to want one, is the reduced noise. That means I can target practice in my backyard with the same gun that I'm taking out hunting later that weekend. I couldn't have done that with the old 25 cal Marauder. I'd really like to point out that in both cases, I tested the rifles as I received them and without any modifications. The beauty of the Marauders in general is that you can adjust just about everything. If you want more power, you can turn it up. If you want more shots, you can adjust that too. It takes time and patience, but these airguns can be fine-tuned without the need of an engineering degree. All you really need is a decent chronograph and some spare time. One thing that is undeniable is that the new synthetic Marauder is a great airgun that's ready to carry on the Benjamin name and airgunning tradition with honor. I'd like to take a moment to thank the folks at Airgun Depot for sponsoring Airgun Web in this video. When you're looking for great airgun information and deals, be sure to visit their site at www.airgundepot.com. And when you're looking for honest, real-world airgun reviews, think Airgun Web, where we tell you the facts, not fluff. I'm Rick Utzer with airgunweb.com. Thanks again for watching.